Hi, and welcome to this week's episode of Talk of Purdue, where we're sitting down with the Vice Provost Dale Whittaker, and we're in his office in Hovde Hall. And Mr. Whittaker, thank you for joining us today. One thing we want to talk to the Vice Provost about is what he's working on this semester and this year, which is a whole host of initiatives. But the main theme is student success. Looking at Purdue's graduation rate right now, is it high, is it low compared to other colleges, or what really prompted a lot of this work that you're starting to do now?
Okay. I'd say it is average. We're high when we compare ourselves to the average in Indiana, but when you compare ourselves to our peers, we're on the lower end. And when we're talking about graduation rates, we're talking about 4-year graduation rates, and then 6-year, which really those students that are the mark at which we say a student has graduated.
Okay.
Okay.
And what are some reasons in academia that a student may not graduate on time or in a fast amount of time?
One of those is just effective use of the credits they have. So for example, our degree plans are on the average around 126 credits that each of you would require in your degree plan. Our students graduate with the average of 143 credits. So they have credits that are not being effectively used toward graduation. So we dug into that, and there's a couple reasons. One of those is that because we don't have a common curricula or a core curricula at Purdue, you may start in a major and decide you want to go into something else and actually have to back up, lose some credits, and move on in that major and take additional courses. So that's one. A second one is that for a 126 credit major, you really need to have 16 credits a semester. On the average, our students register for just over 14, every class, from the freshman class to the senior class. And after dropping a course, or on the average, end the semester with 13 credits. So the average students are producing 13 credits, or taking 13 credits a semester, when they really need 16 to graduate. It adds up to another semester.
It's because of that extra class that they're not taking.
That's one those are two reasons.
Yeah.
A third reason we looked into, and this was counterintuitive, is double majors or minors, multiple credentials. It turned out that students who are double majoring or minoring graduate with more credits, but in less time. Which is very interesting, which may say something about that type of student, may be very organized or taking a high load or something like that.
And so with that, I know that there has been a proposal to kind of shift Purdue into a trimester system and really utilizing those summer months.
You may be able to get an internship in Washington, D.C. when it's not so competitive during the summer, in the fall or spring, with no real severe penalty on your course progression. So again, the idea is maybe not for every student to compress to 3 years, but to allow a student to be a little more flexible in how they use their full year and not be so structured into the agrarian calendar.
How did you find out about some of these issues students were facing? Because it sounds like, was it talking to students a lot?
The questions were driven by advisors, faculty, associate deans, and students. The data then was done from analyzing the data, and in some cases, really with advisors, we really did interviews to understand reasons.
Really, so you casted a wide net all over campus to talk to different advisors, and in some ways then they're reflecting the students' concerns.
Yeah, but I think the real student concerns were expressed by asking the questions.
So you've got so many initiatives going on right now, and we all know that the president is going to be done in July. Do you see yourself still being here in Hovde come after that time, or have you thought about that as far as ahead? I mean,
I do.
You got a whole whiteboard of initiatives.
We got work to do.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I can't imagine just saying, well, someone else will,
I think a way to ask that question is there enough commitment in the university to continue focusing on student success? And I think the answer is absolutely. Part of the way you can answer that is by yourself looking at the structure of the search committee and the identifying factors that they say are important in a president. It gives me a lot of confidence that the focus will stay on student success, or a major focus.
Each week we ask our guest, who is the Talk of Purdue for the week, what Purdue should be talking about this weekend. And that could be something tailored towards students, as I know I just had my appointment with my academic advisor, so a lot of students are meeting with their advisors right now and planning out their next couple semesters.
Okay.
But what's something that they should be talking about?
They should be talking about 4-3-2-1.
We've heard of this.
We heard about this with our guest
Keith Hansen.
Keith Hansen was our guest a couple weeks ago.
We're gonna double up on this one then.
Okay,
4,
great.
graduate in 4 years. 3, keep a 3.0. 2, be involved in 2 student organization. Study 2 hours for every hour of class,
Yes.
or at least prepare. And 1, get to know 1 professor or be involved in 1 student organization. Engage every semester in 1 major thing.
And the joke we made to Keith a couple weeks ago is that one student organization can be the exponent, if anyone's interested in joining. But thank you for sitting down with us and talking to us some more about this. And like we said, this is something that Mr. Whittaker is going to be working on all year. And if there's any opportunities for students to give their input or come and talk.
You had the forum, right?
There absolutely are. And for example, in the Foundations project, there are at least 2 students on every one of those committees.
Oh, great.
There are 2 students on the core curriculum committee. So keep
They're
feeding
coming on.
information.
Cool.
We listen carefully.
Well, thank you very much for doing this with us.
Thank you. Appreciate it.